For most of my life, one of my favorite styles of fishing has been finesse fishing in deep, clear water with light spinning tackle. It presents a real challenge because the fish can be very finicky, very spooky. They can see your bait, they can see your line, they can see the boat, they can sense movement. It can be a very difficult circumstance. On today's show, we're gonna try out a lake I've never been to before that's got just that kind of water and will employ that style of fishing. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Glad you're with us. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
It's time for your weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southwest region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
Well, I am really excited about today, and I'm so glad you're along with us because I always look forward to those days when I get to put a check mark in one more lake, river, or bay system that I've never been to before. And that is the case today as I welcome you in just over my left shoulder to beautiful Shoals Lake. We are located about as far north in the state of Arkansas as you can go. Now, Shoals Lake is actually formed by the White River. It runs out of Table Rock Lake up in Missouri, down through Taneycomo Lake, and then right into Shoals, and then right on down into some of the greatest trout fishing water in the state of Arkansas. But on today's show, we're going to be focusing on some of the smallmouth, largemouth, and spotted bass population that lives right here in Shoals. It's a steep canyon-style lake with lots of really clear water, so we'll be using some finesse light tackle techniques to see if we can get these fish to bite today. And while I've got the Nitro Z20 rigged out with the Mercury Pro XS 150 out on the lake today, we're going to be taking you around your local region for this week's fishing reports from our expert team of insider reporters. They know where the fish are biting in your local lakes, rivers, and bays, and they'll share that with you today. So right now, let's get this thing started by launching the boat in Shoals. We get you back to the FSN studios for your weekend planner.
The Solunar tables are indicating that this weekend will be a fantastic time to go fishing. Sunday is forecast to have good game fish activity, while Saturday's conditions are listed as excellent. For top daylight action, anglers should be on the water by noon. Sunrise will take place at 6:48 on Saturday, with sunset occurring at 8:03. And Friday has a full moon, so weekend evenings should be bright. Stay with us for regional fishing updates from around the area. And I'll return with Bassmaster angler Chris Lane on this week's Ask the Pro. But first, here's a peek at some photos from the Costa Catch of the Week contest. These contestants did not win, but we still thought you might want to enjoy some of these nice catches.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Tracker Boats. It's more than just a boat, it's a tracker. Costa Sunglasses, see what's out there. Mercury Marine, official outboard of Fox Sports Outdoors. And Lowrance Electronics, find, navigate, dominate.
There's one. Wow, he came up and got it on the way up as I was just reeling that bait up. That is a little spotted bass for you. That's one of the three species that's prolific in this lake: largemouth, smallmouth, and right there, a spotted bass. All right, we got it going here. We're tucked way back in a canyon, so it's pretty dark in here. But let me get you set up and oriented for Shoals Lake. Two things about this lake: steep and deep. You can see right here in front of me, see that bank way up there? These are big, high rolling canyons here in the Ozark Mountains, and this water is plenty deep. I'm only about maybe 25 feet off the shore here behind me, and it's about 30 feet deep right here. So this thing falls off in a big hurry. In fact, I came out of the river channel pulling into this big creek. It was 121 feet deep just right outside this creek right here. So this is a really deep lake. You want some wind and you want some cloud cover when you fish this lake. Why? It's gin clear. You can see 10, 12, 15 feet down in this water. So when you come here, you want to leave all your heavy bass tackle, all your big bait cast stuff, and your big line at home. You need light spinning gear and I'll talk some about the specific gear you need and the baits, but we're going small line, small finesse baits, and trying to fish the dark sides of these canyons. That sun's gonna get up over the top of those trees right there and bring the sun straight on the water, and when it does, the fish can get even more finicky. So try to stay in the shade, stay where you have some wind, fish the windy side, because you want the surface to be broken up. So those are some real keys to fishing a lake like this, but it's deep, it's clear, it's steep, and it's got 3 good species of bass in it. There's one to get it started. Let's get you started with Fishing and Lake Reports from where you live.
Hi folks, this week's Lone Star Lakes is brought to you once again by Lone Star Outdoor News, a bi-monthly publication covering all of the outdoor news in the state of Texas. You can get a subscription so you don't miss a single issue, or look for it in your sporting goods retailers. Now this week we're going to Richland Chambers first, where sand bass have moved out of the creeks and onto main lake points over brush. Use your slabs and spoons and clear torpedoes to catch the topwater sandies. Over at Sam Rayburn, bass are up in the grass. Look for the hydrilla that's not emerging just yet, and fish along the outside edges with your jigs, Texas rigs, spinnerbaits, and traps to catch Sam Rayburn bass. And at Eagle Mountain Lake, you'll find catfish in about 15 feet of water near the shallow break lines from the old water line. They're catching those on live and cut bait. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by Lone Star Outdoor News. Now let's check in with Mr. Bill Olson. He's on the coast.
Hi folks, this week's report is brought to you by Port Aransas on Mustang Island, the fishing capital of Texas, where anglers enjoy pristine bays, estuaries, 18 miles of surf, and the deep blue waters of the Gulf of Mexico. Plus the local restaurants will even cook your catch come sundown. Come fish and play Texas Island style. For more information, visit portaransas.org. Well, strong spring winds and higher tides continue to challenge anglers. Higher tides have fish scattered in back lakes and marshes. Strong winds have kept anglers pinned against the backside of barrier islands or protected shorelines. Now, the south end of Sabine and Galveston Bay, or the lower end of West Galveston Bay, has given up some nice trout. The intracoastal waterway between Chocolate and Freeport, plus its surrounding marshes, has been good for redfish. Anglers weight fishing East Matagorda Bay continue to catch big sow trout, and they're putting on weight as the spawn approaches. Mesquite and Ayers Bay, as well as the immediate small reefs behind the back shoreline of Matagorda and St. Joe Islands, have been good for specks. The shoreline of the channel leading to Cedar Bayou has also produced. Dagger, Stedman's, East Flats, and the Spore Island along the Corpus Christi Ship Channel have been good. Baffin Bay has given up some solid trout around the rocks. Big fish have come on Unfair Lures mullet. The land cut has regained its popularity. Big specks, redfish, and black drum or flounder have been caught on soft plastics under a float. Out of Port Mansfield, Community Bar, as well as the shoreline up near the land cut, have given up specks. At Port Isabel, South Bay, the Causeways, Long Bar, and Mixtequita Flats have been the most consistent. Live shrimp, cut ballyhoo, or soft plastics have been good choices. This weekend, Saturday has a double tide schedule of 2 high and 2 low tides. This Sunday is a 3-tide day with 2 high tides and just 1 low. I'm Bill Olson, and I'll see you on the coast.
There's one. Smalley. All right. I'm gonna slip a net under him because I've got really light line on here. Only 6-pound test. And I caught a smallmouth. All right, welcome back everybody. There's a nice little chunk for you right there. Caught him on a little Jean LaRue rally grub. I'll show that to you at the end of the show. Give you a quick look at a Bull Shoals Lake Smalley while I try to get us off this bank and out of the wind right here. We've had a big wind come up all of a sudden, which is a good thing and a bad thing on Bull Shoals. It makes it hard to control the boat, but it helps the fishing a little bit. I want to mention a couple of the kinds of fishing that are available here. I mentioned the smallmouth, the spotted bass, the largemouths, all of those. But you know, not far from here, there's a lot of trout fishing available at Taneycomo and on the White River, down where it comes out of Bull Shoals, here below the dam. You've got big striper fishing around here. Bull Shoals just produced a 65-pound striped bass last year that broke the Missouri state record. Gigantic striper. They feed on rainbow trout around here, and that's the reason that they grow so big. So you've got striper fishing, you've got trout fishing, you've got all kinds of bass fishing. It's really just a fishing mecca around here. And Bull Shoals, where we are today, we're out of the Lead Hill area, which is kind of on the mid-lake area. It's only about 45 minutes to an hour from Branson and all the entertainment that goes on for the whole family there. So it's really just a fantastic area. All right, I'm gonna try to get myself out of this wind a little bit. While I'm doing that, you get yourself some fishing and lake reports.
Hey friends, Captain Kevin Broussard along with Captain Carlos Garcia here with Cajun Paradise Lodge and Charters. Tell you what, most of these fish came in 2 to 6 feet of water. The key today was the moving water. We had to find clear water and moving water, in which there wasn't a whole lot of clear water to find, but trout fishing will be picking up through the next couple weeks. You can see we got a few quality fish here. A lot of fish getting caught, redfish mostly in your broken marshes on spoons. Soft plastic, the trout, they're starting to hit on some plastics over your oyster beds, and like I said, 2 to 6 feet of water seems to be the key. Right now, we're gonna turn it over to old Cage and Phil, see what's going on in the bass scene.
I tell you what, Fred, yeah, it's a little dark. The reason why, the clouds are dark. It's been dark, it's been raining, it's been flooding, it's been horrible for the last couple of weeks is all I could say. Yesterday, Captain Kevin and I got in our truck. We drove from Lake Charles to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And I tell you what, we did not pass over one creek, one bayou, one body of water that wasn't high and very, very muddy. Therefore, our reports is, don't go. About the only places that is reporting any decent water is places like Lacassine Reserve, Sabine Reserve, places, the Big Burn area, places that are big, huge marsh areas, the waters are pretty. Other than that, your regular small ponds, your lakes, places that we normally like to talk about, friends, it's high and it's muddy.
Fish on, fish, 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 fish. Got him. All right, something bit it. Come up in that bright sunshine and tell me what you are. Little smallmouth. All right, well, he's a fish anyway. Bright bronze colored smallie right there, just a little chunk. For this quick break right here, I want to mention something to you on how to detect strikes when you're fishing this finesse tackle like this. It's very different than most any other style of fishing that I know of. Most of the time you're gonna throw it out there, whether it's a drop shot rig or a grub like this rally grub I've got, or really any other kind of finesse tackle. Got it, he got it, just like that. They're just gonna pick it up and swim with it, and it's just gonna feel like something heavy on the end of your line. It's not going to be a typical peck worm bite like that. It's just going to feel like you've pulled into some grass or moss or something, and that's how you've got to know that you've got a bite, and that's a better smallmouth right there. All right, there you go, just like that. 2 quick smallies. Detect those strikes just by the feel of maybe a little extra weight, and you feel a couple of little surges on your line pulling the other way. That's how they bite a finesse bait. Not a peck, not a thump. We'll be right back.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. Lose, fueled by passion, driven by innovation. Feel the difference. Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland Lures. With our baits, a good day of fishing is in the bag. And Strand Fishing Lines, the standard of dependability.
Got him. Oh, smallie. Nice smallie right there. Hey, welcome back everybody. We're on Bull Shoals Lake today. What's turned out to be a really windy day. I've got a few fish biting right there, and that's a decent smallmouth. Get in my net. All right. Look at this bad boy right here. There's a little fatty for you. That one hit a little rally grub, and that one's a lot fatter. Chunkier little fish right there. That's a good Bull Shoals specimen for you right there. Let him go back in this gin clear water right here. What a gorgeous fish. All right, away he goes. When you come here, you're going to be fishing rock, 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 and more rock. But there are subtle differences between the rock, and that's what's going to hold the fish. So you go along these big chunk bluff banks, but if you find a little place that's got smaller pea gravel coming out and it shallows out a little bit, those are going to be the places to key in on. I'll show you what a couple of those look like. But just visually with your eyes, scan the shoreline and find those little irregularities, the places that are different, where a little cut goes in, a little point comes out, a little flat spot, a spot that's shallower than everything else. That fish came off of a little flat point behind us there that was only about maybe 12, 14 feet deep, but it quickly drops off into about 30, 35, something like that. So find those subtle irregularities when you're fishing these lakes, and you don't even really have to know what you're doing as long as you can use your eyes, find those kind of places, and you've got a great chance to get bit by smallmouth, largemouth, or spotted bass. Here are more fishing and lake reports for you.
Hey, we've got a lot of fish shallow here in Oklahoma at this time, and there are 2 rigs that you can be tossing. Doesn't matter if you're in a lake, a pond, or a creek, and catch a lot of fish. Not going to be real discriminatory as to kind or size, but good numbers. One is a 5-inch Finesse worm. This is a 5-inch salthead shaky worm from LaRue, green pumpkin color. Rig it on a 1/0 worm hook and peg a 1/8 ounce worm sinker up against it. Pick a stretch of shoreline that has a good variety of cover. Rocks, laydowns, brush, grass, and get that bait as close to it as you can. Don't fish out any deeper than 5 foot of water. Keep that bait moving through there in a typical worm retrieve. Now the other bait and rig is fishing a crappie jig underneath a bobber. Now my favorite is a 2-inch Bobby Garland. Best color right now for me is a monkey milk, and I'm rigging that 18 to 24 inches below my bobber. I'm picking out the same type of cover I just talked about, no more than 1.5 to 5 feet out as you fish that thing back in, so just get as long a cast as you can out of the shoreline to allow that retrieve back. And this time you can use just a real steady, slow reeling retrieve to catch those fish. You're going to catch bass, you're going to catch crappie, you're going to catch white bass, but you can't catch them if you don't go.
There's one. All right. Oh, yeah, a little smallmouth. All right. Don't flop water on the lens, thank you. Just a little smallie. No big deal, back he goes.
Be sure to join Fox Sports Outdoors again next week, Thursday at 5:30, or catch the repeat airing Saturday morning at 8. And you can always watch the latest episode in full HD on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Plus, catch up on all past episodes by clicking the archive button, and see lots of how-to and product videos by clicking the how-to button. Also, stay up to date with the latest fishing news, videos, and photos by clicking the follow button on our Twitter feed, and get lots of that same info by clicking the like button on our Facebook page. Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Exide AGM Marine Batteries. Starts like new, stays like new longer. Motor Guide Trolling Motors, because accuracy matters. Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Champions aren't born, they're made. And Fox Sports Outdoors is driven by Fort Worth Nissan and Lone Star Toyota.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's get right to your Ask the Pro question for this week. David wants to know, on a crowded lake, how much room do I need to give another angler's boat? For the answer, we asked 2012 Classic champion Chris Lane.
When it comes to the distance that you give another angler, you know, that gets real hairy in situations, because whether you're fishing a point or whether you're fishing in back of a cove, if you're fishing against another angler and he's in that tournament, you know, kind of give him the same respect as you think you would like to get from him. That could be boat to boat, that could be 100 yards apart. You got to remember, they invert the fields on the Elite Series for us, so, you know, whatever goes around is going to come back around. If you're out there and you're watching, or if you're spectating, or if you're just out there fishing, you know, hey, same thing. Treat others as you want to be treated as well. So, you know, a safe distance is, you know, at least a good long cast.
Thanks, Chris. If you want some help from one of the pros, go to foxsportsoutdoors.com and follow the Ask the Pro link to submit a question. Now it's time for the Costa Catch of the Week, where someone wins a new pair of sunglasses.
Back at the hotel and time for this week's winner in the Costa Catch of the Week contest. Each and every week, someone wins a free pair of sunglasses right here on the show. And this week's winner is Matt Steele of San Antonio, Texas, showing a 12-pound largemouth bass he caught out of Lake Medina back before the lake nearly went dry in the drought. If you'd like to have a chance to be our next winner in the contest, go to our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Click in the Costa Catch of the Week area on the right side of the front page, follow the instructions, and be sure to follow the guidelines to make your photo eligible. And you can see all of the Costa frame and lens styles on the front page of their website by going back to the front page of ours, foxsportsoutdoors.com. Click on the Costa logo and you can see all of their great products there, including the frame style that I was wearing on this week's episode. It's called Prop. Next up on the Academy Right Stuff feature, it's the right gear, specialized gear if you want to catch the spooky, finicky bass in this really clear water at Shoals Lake. And it begins with my first opportunity to fish a brand new fishing rod series on the market from the folks at Lou's this year. This is called the TP1 Spinning Rod Series. Now, among lots of great features, I want to mention two of them. One is a brand new guide system. They're called microwave guides, and I can't really explain yet why they work, but I fished all day long with two spinning rods and never got one wind knot. The nemesis of every spinning rod angler is the wind knot, and I never got one all day with these guides. They are absolutely unbelievable. And the wind grips. These are soft, flexible grips made of the same material that golf club grips have been made for many years. They feel great in your hands. And there are two basic baits that we use to catch the fish today. First, a drop shot rig. It begins with a drop shot weight on the end. There are special weights made for this application, and a standout hook, which when you put pressure on your line, makes that hook stand out horizontally. I used on the back of that a Jean LaRue salt head shaky worm. And then the other bait that we used, that is a Jean LaRue rally grub, and the head is a fairly heavy one, about 3/8 of an ounce. Hey, I'd like to talk to you about two terms. The first one is entitlement. It's having the right to something and going around acting like it. And I can tell you that that is a real turnoff to those that you come in contact with. The second word is humility. It's choosing to act more humble and like you deserve less than you actually do. And I can promise you this, as you live your life, choosing to act humble will win you many more friends and influence lots more people. From Shoals Lake in northwest Arkansas, until next week, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.